Hey everybody, welcome to another crazy stream. Hopefully we're going live here and yeah, we've been working on the Sea Dragon, which I'm going to attempt to rebuild here in a grand form of theoretically this all sticks together. Just giving us an idea where we were from last stream. There we go like that. And what else do we have? We have the bottom, which I believe we had sit like this. Nope. Oh, yeah, maybe. There we go. And then I made this absolutely the worst looking engine in the world at the bottom, and that's what we're going to be working on today. We're going to get this engine actually looking a little bit better. And what else do we have here? We had this on the top, like so, and then we had our little thing like that. Oh, like that? No, hang on a second here. Should go on like that. There we go. And then we have our heat shield. And this theoretically is where we were in the last stream, and most of this kind of works. So we'll just do a quick little test and see if we can remember what broke, because we had a lot of stuff explode last stream. Oh yeah, so things sort of fell on each other and stuff. Turn on the engine, but let's see what we got here. Oh, something's exploding. Oh good. No, everything's exploding. Okay. And we have no control and everything's just kind of exploded and flying into the air. So obviously one of the problems that we have is that if I can remember how to say this properly, yeah, it's solid boosters are on. So this works. That's always good, right? And then it drops our little capsule, which we can't deploy until we actually get back to Earth. So we'll just ride it for a couple seconds here. And you can see here that we have a lot of issues with this Sea Dragon. And part of the reasons for that is because I've been working on this to show you guys how to do all these steps, but I'm sort of, instead of doing it piece by piece by piece, I'm sort of doing all the pieces together. So we do need to go back and make sure everything is put together properly. Now, again, this capsule is very rough, and we do have a Mega Shoot deorbiter in it for some strange reason, because that's what I ended up going with. And then as it falls down, it will eject out the smaller parachutes that'll actually slow it down so it doesn't go crashing into the ground. At least that's the plan, as we hear other stuff crashing into the ground. Right? It's gonna split. There we go. Yeah. And we got the smaller little parachutes that are gonna come down. So that's where we are right now, and we're gonna work on that engine tonight. And then later tonight or in the next stream, we'll actually try to fix up everything and make it look nice. But I just wanted to do the engines because I had a lot of people asking for really big engines. So I sat there and said, well, what do people want more in the stream? And I think given that there's a couple modders that want to make big engines, that's what we're going to do. So as always, we're going to close out Spaceflight Simulator. We're going to open up our Unity project here, and we're going to go to the Sea Dragon process. And we have the following engines. So we have the engines on here, which have been sort of okay. We'd like to see if we can improve them. And then we have the Sea Dragon engine, which is currently a really hashed up, what do we call this? Frontier engine with a USA sign on it from Apollo. Yep, that's what we ended up doing. So now this is probably pretty big, but if we look at our Sea Dragon mock-up here and yeah, Sea Dragon mock-up and we bring the engine over, there we go, we can see that the engine is actually much smaller than the actual Sea Dragon engine. So with that in mind, and we're just going to put it at 40, there we go. No, it's 41 maybe? 42. It should evenly line up without being too big. No, it's 41.5. Okay. So in terms of this engine overall, we need to figure out how much bigger it needs to be, because it should be wider than the actual rocket, and it should be longer for sure. So what we're going to do, and this is why I have this little construct here, is that we're going to move it over by dragging it like so. and then we're going to go here, and we're going to put the multiplier on. So multiplication wise, it's probably okay on the X. Oops, we're going to go back to 1 here. But we want to go to Y, and we want to make it larger. And we're going to actually do this properly in the editor in a second. But we want 1.6, so we're going to say 1.7 is what we're looking for in terms of how deep the engine is. So we're going to go over here, and we're going to go grab this engine right here. We're going to grab the nozzle. We're going to hit 0. And of course it went higher than it should have. Why did it do that? Is the whole thing... Oh, it's all been resized. Right. So that's not going to be as useful as I thought. Okay. Because we actually have to shrink this engine back down to its regular size and build up. I don't really like using the resizing tool very much, but there you go. Okay, so we said, whoops, haha, I had the numbers here. So we have 5 and 11, and it's 5, and I said 1.7. So we're going to take the y value, which is 5, times 1.7, and it gives us 8.5. Okay, 8.5. And the x value is okay because it's wide, and we'll make it a little bit wider as we finalize it. But as we just going to go here, and I'm going to figure this out, we need to count this out. So that's 10, 20 minus 1 to 2.5. So that's 17.5, and we said 1.7. So 17.5 times 1.7. We're going to say even 30. So that's how big our engine is going to be. 30 by whatever this is here, 22. So there we go. So hey everybody, as we're sort of getting this figured out and everything, yeah, the USA texture was just so that I could quickly tell this is actually a copy of my test engine when I originally started doing engine mods. I took a Frontier engine, I put the US texture on it, and that was sort of my test engine for testing out various strengths and power ratios and ISP on the engines to ensure that I wasn't making engines that were too overpowered or too underpowered compared to the stock engines. Because you do want to sit on that curve when you're designing these things. If you make your engines too overpowered, well, you might say, wow, this is cool, it's so overpowered. But then it makes the challenge of the game non-consequential. Like, there's no, it's not hard to play a game if all your engines are like 3,000 thrust and 4,000 ISP. You could fly that to Pluto and back 20 times without any problems. So there you go. In terms of when is this rocket coming out, I'm hoping it's going to be out by the end of the month. I know that Water's asking that question. And so my hope is that this stream we're going to get the engines figured out, and the next stream we're going to try and make it look good and solve any of the little problems. And then I might have a third little how to make things look pretty stream, but that kind of stuff I've kind of been skipping a little bit because it's the same process like repeated 400 times, and it could be kind of a little boring to watch. So I'm trying to show you all the major steps and everything. So there it is. Other than that, yeah, we're pretty much just ready to go here. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat. Just put at picospace and a bunch of question marks. I'll see it come up on the right hand side here. Woo. And yeah, give the video a like. If you haven't already, subscribed, obviously, because the more people who watch videos, the more modding I can do. It is a direct correlation, not correlation. What's the word? Shoot. If you know what the word is, let me know in the chat. But it's I'm blanking on it. But let's get to doing the engine. Okay, so I'm gonna open up this here. Show an Explorer. And we have this engine here. I'm actually going to take this picture here, and I'm just going to have it off to the side on the other monitor. I still can see the chat. I just have it spaced out a little bit over here, and that's because I'm using this as my visual aid, and I'll bring it over a couple times when we get closer as we build this engine out. Okay, so the first thing, as I said, we're going to do is get rid of this. Oops. One. Again, I just did that so that we could quickly build a big engine for last week, but I was not intending on keeping it. If you do want to play with this, the beta will be updated after the stream on the Discord channel with the new engine and everything, and you can definitely have some fun. Um, so we're gonna do this. So the first thing we know is that I said this was 30 by 22. So um, it's gonna be 30 wide, or well, we'll say, yeah, 30 wide on the top. 30 wide on the top. Then we're gonna say 25, and then we'll say 24. And we're just basically building out the rocket. We'll make some adjustments to it a little bit later as we do this, but we just want a big bottom piece here, and maybe 27. It's not 57. That's a bad number. There we go. Okay, cool. And then we're gonna take this guy here, and we know this guy, we want it to go all the way down to negative 30, like so. And we're gonna say about negative, as I pull numbers out of a hat, 25. To be a little bit wider on the bottom than it is at the top, for the rocket to go there. And then we're going to get rid of a lot of the other pieces here for now. And there's a couple reasons we're doing this. And the main reason we're doing this is because I need to take this one here and say this is going to go to 10. I'm going to say 10. Generate the mesh. There we go. And the ring nozzle, that stuff we're going to toggle active right now, or shoot, toggle it so it's hidden. We don't want it right now, and we'll play around with it a bit later. And if you're wondering, the nozzle here, the flame is somewhere. I don't know where the flame is. We'll play around with the flame afterwards. But for right now, we're just going to hide the flame as well. And that allows us to build this engine as correctly as we can. And as you can see here, whoops, my bad. Where's it? Here? Yeah. We now have a much bigger engine that is clearly now too big. Or did I? No. So apparently I can't do math. It's not wide enough, and it is too long. Okay, so I should probably copy this. Here, where's this dragon here? There we go. We're gonna copy this, and we're gonna move it over to the engine, and we're just gonna do it the super cheaty way. Where is the Sea Dragon engine? There it is. Okay, there we go. And we'll just do it this way. I don't like doing it this way, but we're doing it this way. There you go. Make sure that's as close to center line as possible. That looks good. Okay, so I'm gonna take this. We're gonna make it the multiple just single for right now, and we're gonna go this, and we're gonna drop the opacity so we can see what's underneath it, and then we're just going to grab this and make the engine, at least the bell of the engine, as close as we can. And normally I make this really small and whatever, but we're gonna make it a little bit bigger because we are dealing with a pretty big engine. Going to go like that. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. I'm gonna get it out to the edge, and then we're gonna add in the details as we go. Oops. Yeah, here. Okay. Yeah, we want to stick to the darker part of the engine because we're going to add the outer white section as different piping. And we're sticking to this side because it's a drawing. It's not going to be perfect because it's not 100% centered. So we're just going to stick to one side as our goal as we build out this engine as best as we can. Musical interlude. And let's go through here and make sure we zero out anything here that's been moved as we're doing this. This will cause us problems later, so we don't. And we hit generate mesh. And that's more in line with what we're doing with that classic Sea Dragon Bell look. Classic, I say. Classic. And there. It. Go. There we go. And we're just going to try to hopefully make this a little bit better and less sharp changes. Go. All right, and then we're going back here and double checking that all the zeros that are supposed to be 0 are 0. There we go. And then we're going to generate a mesh. And that gets us, at the very least, the bottom. The top looks a little bit different in terms of how the Sea Dragon is made. So what I'm going to do is actually delete the top here and say the engine gets to about there. That's the nozzle. And then we're going to basically take, what do we got here? The vessel. Oh, we'll take the vessel, toggle active state. There you go. It's kind of small, but that's okay. We're going to move it over here underneath the nozzle because it is part of the nozzle. And we're going to go up here, make sure it is completely zeroed, and 1, 1, which I should have done on the nozzle as well, which it's not. Shoot. Okay, we're going to have to redo some stuff here because we do want to make sure this is done properly and in the right spot. So, yeah, don't forget to zero stuff out before you do it, otherwise you end up doing it twice. Okay. Well, we'll do it that way. Okay. So I'm curious to find out who actually stayed up last night for the SLS launch. I know I had some people on the chat in the Discord forum, but yeah, we definitely had at least a couple people I know ended up sleeping in because it was at like 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is pretty late for a rocket launch here. I know they launch rockets at the most optimal time, not necessarily when you want to wake up. But yeah, it was kind of interesting to see a night launch of an experimental rocket. So that was really, really nice. Um, Prime, did you end up watching it or did you end up falling asleep? Say, what is the answer? Find out in the chat as I try to fix this giant mess already that I've made. Which, if you're new to the stream, is not unusual. Ooh, Prime252 went to sleep. But BNLW stayed up. That's good. Now the more important question: how did you vote on my "is this rocket gonna launch" thing, and did you change it afterwards? uh, I noticed a couple votes that switched after the launch was successful. A few people were like, "Oh no, it's not gonna launch." Then suddenly it launches. So like, "Oh no, totally, I said it was gonna launch." Always a fun time on that one. It's like, only if we change the answers after the fact. All right, let's see how much fixing I still need to do. Oh, that's not good. Okay. Maybe that'll help me fix the rocket. Go. All right. And then over here, and drag that in a little bit. Drag that out because we want to stick to this. There we go. Come on. There we go. want to make sure there's an edge of some sort there. And this is going to go up. All right. Oh, good night, water. Yeah, I know it's a bit late for some people, but unfortunately, I literally had to run to the stream. I haven't even had dinner yet. I was so busy today. I'm trying to get some other stuff done, including some tires on a car. That was fun. Changing tires on a car. Try to do it before the weather gets cold. Not as much fun once the weather's cold. Not that it's super fun when the weather is not cold, but yeah, less fun. All right. Generate mesh. Okay, so that's the bottom now done properly. We'll fix up as we go and add the custom uh, textures and stuff. But we're gonna go back to the vessel side here, which is this little guy here. Um, yeah, he's got a bunch of pieces. He's this little round thing that we don't want. Okay, cool. We're gonna make it bigger, and we're gonna drag him down. And the reason we're doing this is because I want to put a custom texture on the bottom, and I'd rather not have to do a custom texture and a split. I've generally found that has negative things happen. So the top of this guy here is negative 6.5, 0, and 17.5. That too. Okay. Generate texture so it matches. So can we remember those numbers? Negative 6.5 and 17.5. So negative 6.5, and we said 17.5. Okay, and then there's 0, 0, and that should match up like that. Perfect. Okay, and we're just going to go here, and we're going to drop the transparency down as well a little bit as we build this one out. Now at the top here, it does not need to go this high, so we're just going to bring it down here in line there, and out to a number that's going to be reasonable, which seems to be, the number is going to be 6. Okay, and we're going to generate that mesh, and we're going to try to build this upper bell portion. Oh, here, and we got to build a whole bunch of points here to make this kind of even. Well, to the people saying they want to make mods in the chat, if you're not able to make mods, you can always make requests for mods. The only thing I ask is no weapons and nothing too stupidly cheaty, etc. You know, if you think it should live in the cheat menu, then it's not a mod I'm going to make. I do want to try to keep Space Flight Simulator a little bit challenging. And as I said, I am working on a couple mods to make it even more challenging. They're taking a little bit longer than I originally wanted to because everything takes longer in this thing. And occasionally there's some updates that cause things to have to be fixed. And I'm not kidding, like maintaining some mods chews up a lot of time. There's no easy way to say this. If you have over 100 parts and somebody makes a change and then you have to go and check all 100 parts, that eats an afternoon or an evening or a weekend of what you were planning to actually mod. So, yeah, when that happens, expect mods to sort of stop for 3 or 4 days while I try to make sure all the current mods work before people start haranguing me saying this mod doesn't work. And I'm like, no, but it did. It did. But the update changed it. So there you go. Updates, mods, bad. No, they're good. They're just sometimes a little annoying, especially when you don't know what's going on. So, anywho, and that's my complaint for the day. Back to more positive stuff. This is starting to actually look half decent. Not perfect, but that's okay. Half decent is pretty good. All right, and again, we can spend a lot of time making all these parts and everything. But we do want to try to get this done in a timely manner. All right, so we got the base here. We do have this ring, so we're going to toggle this active state. Obviously, we're not using it as a ring. We're going to zero it out, and we're going to use it for whatever the heck this other stuff is. Um, now, oops, do that. Now, in this case, this stuff here isn't going to move with the nozzle. It's going to be stationary, so when the nozzle does its moving and stuff like that, it doesn't change. At least I don't think it's supposed to. Or is this a piston? Oh, don't tell me that's the piston to move it back and forth. Oh, I see how this kind of works. Hmm. Right. Okay. So we'll do it this way, I guess. Do it that way. It's gonna be odd. As flat as possible. There. There we go. And then we're gonna do this, and this is the weird stuff. Welcome to how to make weirdly shaped parts. Very much a guesstimate here. Go. The one here. Move it down, and then we'll flatten it out like that. There we go. Okay. Yes, no, maybe wider. Oh wait, this is gonna move. Right. Okay. So we do need to make this come down here because it's gonna be behind the nozzle. We can kind of hide our shoddiness, if I want to say that, behind the actual nozzle by going negative. Actually, this is gonna be 0. We'll make the nozzle positive. We'll do that. Take this nozzle here. We're gonna go 10. I'm not really worried about somebody trying to put this behind a thing. We just need to make it big enough that it's going to hide the other one. And yeah, if you stick this in a what's the thing called, separator or whatever, yeah, your own darn fault. Okay, so there we go. We're going to change these now from transparency to whoops. We can keep that dark for right now. 100%. Okay, there we go. Go here. This guy here, the transparency is going to be back up to 100%. Generate that mesh. And then down here at the bottom, we're going to call this transparency 100%. There we go. And we can double check the bell curve. And we're going to get rid of all this other stuff here and switch it from multiple to a single. And the reason for that is because I'm going to create a color. We're just going to call it black for right now. There we go. It's dark. And that's what it looks like. Pretty good. Double check our numbers. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Oh, there's one there. 0. And that's good. Okay. Generate. So what we want to do now, and this is part of it's going to be, is if you've seen pictures of the Sea Dragon engine, it always has like these lines on it. If I open up here, and I think I have to go to I think it's screenshots, reference pictures. I think I have a couple Sea Dragons here, and I'll show you what I mean. Not saying it. And there you go. Yeah, so he's got it where it's got these vertical bars, which we have to add, but I've also seen it where they've got like a lot of little lines going down the engine. So the vertical bars we can add similar to how Mr. Sisu did it, basically just adding them in as vertical white bars. But I did want to add the lines onto the rocket. Yeah, this one doesn't show it. I've seen it here. I thought I had a reference of it. Right. No, no, I don't know where the reference is. Awesome. So yeah, we're gonna put lines on there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna search here and we're gonna search for black. And what we're looking for is color black, and color black like this. And we're going to copy these two, and we're going to then go back and make sure that we're in our Sea Dragon folder. And we're going to paste color black, and we're going to call this um, instead of color black, we'll call it black nozzle. Or actually, you know what? It should be nozzle black. There you go. And then we're also going to change this here, which is this little black thing here, to the same name, nozzle black. There you go. And we're going to make sure that this is now pointing to nozzle black. Oddly enough, we do have to do this, otherwise it will not change. Nozzle black. Okay, so nozzle black is essentially black right now. But if we go back to our original drawing here and we take this and we set it to, instead of black, we go nozzle and we pick the one that says, there's a bunch of them here, but we want this one, nozzle black. It's going to open this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to show this one in Explorer, and then you're going to edit it with whatever software you have to edit it. If that happens to be Photoshop, Paint, whatever. I have a couple options here, if I can find it here. But I'm going to use Affinity. The other one I have is gonna miss thing KR. I have this one as well. That's also a useful one as well. But I find this is better for making comics and other types of drawings than this. But for intensive purposes, this is what we need right here. So this is the black that's there. Now, this is not a very big object. If we resize the document, you're gonna see it's like 40 by 32. That's too small for the size of Red Dragon, so, or the Sea Dragon, so we're going to make it 400. We could also go up to 800 if you want. We don't really need this sizing, but it's just better to do it. It looks exactly the same, but actually now if you zoom in, it has a lot more there. So what we need to do is go and figure out the, oh shoot, I'm blanking. I am just blanking today. Apologies. The actual lining on here, the piping. So the easiest way to do that is you grab another one and you just simply copy paste. I happen to know that I've been working on a little pack. If I grab this one here, we'll do it here. Of what do they call these things? Parts, custom assets, texture packs. So I've been working on this texture packs and stuff like that. And I think I put it here linear. There we go. This is what I want. So I'm going to open this in Affinity Photo as well. And this texture pack will be coming out soon, but it has a bunch of fun textures and shapes and stuff like that for making different rockets for different agencies and stuff like that that have a slightly different way of doing it. But what we want is this, and we want this, because this is what we're going to copy, and we're going to go back to here, and you can see it comes out, it's kind of small, that's fine. We're going to go in here, and the answer is going to be darken. It's going to make it darker. I think that's what we want, right? It didn't make it very dark, did it? You can kind of see it. What else have? Multiply, let burn, linear burn. Oh, I'm hoping to do this easy, not have to get too fancy. Overlay. Overlay works. Perfect. Okay. So overlay works, and we can see that we get that line on there. So what we're going to do here is we're going to rotate it over. We're going to move it down here, and we are going to try to figure out how many pixels. So I want it to be even smaller than this. I want it to be like this, but obviously that is not going to show up. So what we want to do is get really creative. This so it's about halfway. And I'm just trying to line up here. Okay. And then we're going to go like this. And we're going to go here to here. And then we're just going to go down. Up on the marker to the other marker, and we're just going to take the centerpiece. Why is that not lined up properly? Let's see. Okay. Ignore what I'm doing. I am doing this badly. Just zoom in and do it this way. There we go. Haha. Because all we want is this centerpiece. We don't care about the rest of this, so we just want the center. But we want the center from about 40 to 60. We zoom in here. There we go. We start at 40, like so. And we go to 60. And then we're just going to drag it all the way down until we get past the end. That's fine. And we do this. We're going to copy and paste that. It's going to give us a second line. We're going to delete the first one. We don't need it. And now we have our line right here. Oops. There it is. And we're going to put it on the side here like this. And we're going to actually drag it all the way down like so. Perfect. So now we have our black line with the piping. Oops. Oh, come on. Why is it being so difficult today? All right. And we have it, and it's overlaid. So now all we have to do is go copy, paste, and yeah, a bunch of times, basically putting it so that it's side by side, and it's creating all these piping side by side, and then we can obviously select them and then paste them and then do them in chunks of 4. Come on. I say this, and then it doesn't snap. I want it to snap. There we go. Copy, paste. Snap. Oh, well. Okay, we'll do it this way. Since we know that they are on the lines, there we go. And we're about halfway there, so we'll copy all of them now, and half of them are not. Nope. Move those up. Coordinate they are there. And we'll copy this, and we're going to move this whole group of them. Let's move this side here. There we go. And we have it where they've gone completely across. Now we're going to hit save. It's going to say save as flattened because we want to do that. We're going to go back here. It's disappeared, and it'll do this on you because every time you do this, it'll won't automatically refresh it. And then we put it back on, and now we have the lines that we wanted. Now, the lines aren't as dark as I would have liked. I would have liked it if it was a little darker. So we're going to go back to the drawing. We're going to take all these lines here. We're going to put it into a group like so. And then we're going to copy the group and paste it again. And we're going to do it 2 more times. Really make those lines show up. We're going to save this flatten. We'll save it as a photo file later, but for right now, save it as flatten. We're going to generate that mesh again, and we now have lines all the way up and down the rocket. Yay! So you can see how the lines go, right? And how tall is the SLS? Um, the SLS is 32 stories tall. I don't remember the metric / actual measure of units for the SLS, but what we're building right now is a Sea Dragon, which is much bigger. Significantly bigger. Okay, so we built this here. Now we got to put the line piping on, and we need to fix this thing up here in the top corner, which apparently is some weird kind of piston sort of thing, if that's what we're going to go with. So skipping beats for 2 seconds here, we're just going to copy and paste the ring here. As you see, we have ring 1, and I'm just going to probably call this thing here turbo machinery. And we're going to place it up here. We're going to shrink it down. We want to try to keep it as flat as possible in terms of our design here, but we don't want it popping through the top of the thing. And we're just going to quickly build up our line thing and make this segment of the rocket. And we'll go back and we'll make the next section. I just want to finish this part here because it's dependent on the next part that we're going to do as we sort of hopefully get a functional rocket out of this in 20 minutes or so. And then test stuff. Crash. Don't crash on me. Yeah, if you it's like Ghostbusters, you cross these lines and Unity is like, down for the count. Okay. Go. There we go. And then we're going to hit generate mesh. That's going to give us our very wonky looking enough. There we go. Try to keep things as in line as possible. Okay. There we go. All right, and then we're going to make another. Again, turbo machinery is very. Again, this is the time-consuming part that takes a lot of time, but it's not really teaching you guys anything super fancy that you haven't seen me do like 100 times already. So we can fill in the parts and make this look nicer a little bit later. But for right now, we're just going to put this other box in here. We'll finish it up, but I want to show you that we have this one, this one. Now for this one here, I want to create another item here, and this is going to go like this because this is basically a piston. This is the part that actually has to go -2. Hopefully it's going to go behind. Perfect. Great. Narrow and straight. No. Narrow and straight or straight and narrow. And then I want to make sure this piece here, which is the ring, we're going to go here. We're going to call this the piston segment. And what we're going to show here is that when I toggle this engine left and right, apply, you can see here it's going to shift left and it's going to shift right, apply, there you go. And we just want to make sure that if it's going in, it's not doing exactly what just happens. It's crashed into this here. So we're going to move this back a little bit so the piston is still visible because obviously we want it to run rails on the piston, not the device that's holding the piston. All right, and that's good on that side. All right, fly, and we're gonna make it 0.25, and that's because this is a big engine. It tilting left and right is definitely a major consideration. Oh, welcome Oliver Gaming Tips to the stream, and oh, I'm gonna pronounce this badly, but it's Vimos or Vimos. So welcome, and then Jeff Vies, Jeff Vies. I'm hoping again. Let me know if that's not pronounced properly. Um, and we have this as the engine now. We gotta add nice things to make it look nice. We have the bars that go across the front. These bars actually here hold this balloon segment here, which is the device that basically weights the thing down. I'm going to build this a little bit later for the dragon because we're waiting on Steph to come out with water. And the issue here is that that device will basically be a buoyancy changer, essentially. It'll make itself heavier or lighter, and then when you click on it, it will release the dragon, and then the dragon can obviously launch from that point. It's not actually part of the engine, um, so that's the buoyancy system here. Overall, all it's going to be is it looks like this. It'll connect here and here, and then when you press the button, it'll detach, and these parts will move sideways and that part will come out. And all these parts will move, but they're not part of the engine, so I'm not adding them on top of the engine. They're part of the buoyancy system. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to add the piping to the engine here, the struts on the side, and then we're going to double check the engine specs to make sure this engine has enough oomph to actually put us into space. And then after that, we can make it look a little bit nicer because it's got like things on here that I'm missing, but that's okay, right? So we're going to take the top section here, which is called vessel, and we're going to call this, oh shoot, I'm blanking on stuff, but we're going to call it something. Better call it something, right? Name doesn't really matter that much. So we're just going to call it thread. Horrible naming for what this is. I'll correct it later, but for now, we're just going, and we're going as fast as we can without going too fast that things go bad. Okay, so this is going to come all the way down here, and we're going to go all the way down here, and we're going to make this section here. Now this one here, you can see it pop out the side here, so we're just going to go all the way to the bottom there, and we're going to go here. And this is an important part here when we're doing this. It's negative 30. We want to stay. Why is that not negative 30? Shoot. Okay, we've got to fix that. Yeah. You don't want to go and have an odd number because then things will not line up properly. On the very bottom and the very top, it always has to be 0 something. So that's important. And then if we go like this, generate the mesh, it should come out the top. Why is it not coming out? White, color white, generate mesh, okay. And we want not flat faces, we want metallic. All right. Why is this not doing what I want? 25? Oh, okay, apparently, what did I make this? I made this 20, so this here should be apparently more than 20. That is odd. That should negative 30, because we have to make sure that balances. Generate mesh. That should totally. Oop. Why is this doing what it's not doing? I do that. Yeah, it's kind of half doing it. Thing. Why is this doing this? Because this is 20. Yeah. I don't know why it's sitting on top of a 30 though. If I make it 40, how much different? No, it's having a bad day. Why is it having such a bad day? If I move it out and do it, what does it do? No, it doesn't do anything. Oh. How about that? Nope, it's not going over 30. Okay, so we're going to go here. We're going to say this is going to say 2. We're going to get this worked out. There we go. 2 and this segment, where is it? Oh, the strut's right there. And we're going to say this here is 15. Is that going to make it work? Kind of made it work, right? Yeah, kind of made it work. Okay, cool. So we have this one strut here. We're going to make another strut here. And this is where we want to make sure that the struts are going to be the same width as here. So we're going to make this one here. Okay, so 30. So we're going to go negative 25. And this is going to be negative 24.75. So it's the same width. And then we're going to go here and place it so they're actually a little wider than the nozzle because they're going to hold this piping strut on like so. And then make sure that's 0, 0. There we go. Because we have to add this pipe along the outside here. Doesn't really fall into that one. So this is a weird one. Okay. But we're going to do that. And then that's how we're going to do it. And we're just doing it every 5. We can obviously add more later, but I just want to get it so it's, and that makes this 1975. Okay, go. Gonna grab something to eat. Probably a good idea. I got my dinner sitting here, but I'm gonna finish the stream here before I get to eat. I'm. How does that look? Okay. Not liking the color. I'm probably gonna change it, but so far so good in terms of how this actually ends up looking. Negative 15. That puts us at negative 14.75. Generate the mesh. Just drag this in here to a number that works. Here we go. Get rid of these side. Generate the mesh. Okay. And how many more do we have to do? Negative 10. Oh, negative 10 gets us the top here. Yeah, negative 10 is the lowest one that we have. Okay, cool. 75. Drag this one a little differently. It's going to be covering sort of this bump that we have. Just need to pick a number. I'm going to pick number 15. There we go. 15, 0. Generate mesh. Okay, so that's what we have right now. And not liking the color. It comes off, I think, a little too white. So we're going to pick the struts here. We pick all 5 of them. And instead of color, we're going to say metal 4. Go. How does that look? And still not 100% happy with this. I can make it darker, though. How about that? I think that's more reasonable. I just don't want it to be blowing out white in the center core because that looks odd on this whole thing, given that such a dark system, or dark engine. Dark engine. Dun dun dun. But there you go. Now we're gonna take the strut, we're gonna copy it, we're gonna call this one piping. Piping. And we're gonna take this, it's at the bottom right now, doesn't matter. Once we go up to the top here. And we're gonna run this. We're gonna run this up the side here. Now the trick here is when you're doing piping is you actually only do half of it out. The other half is going to be hidden underneath. So you just need to sort of go like this, get to the edge, go like that, and then make it out like that. And it's going to go all the way up to just underneath here. So go there, make it down like that. There you go. And then similarly, we're just going to go adding a whole bunch of points that we're then going to move as we move up the side of the rocket. And this is going to go to about right there, and we want to touch there. Okay, cool. So we're going to have this piping here, and we want to keep the piping about the same width. Doesn't have to be perfect, especially on something this big. Nobody's going to look too crazy at the details. But at the same time, we do want to make sure that it is, you know, as close to the same as possible. And we do want to put the piping. Now I'm going to aim the piping on the bottom of each row here. Want to make sure that the piping doesn't go outside of each of these, but at the same time, it can go a little bit at the top. Go. Anyway, there. Give you an idea, quick idea here what we're doing. We're doing that, and then what we're going to do here is we're going to call it 0, and it will go behind the engine. And we're going to make this one here because we do want it, let's say, white. Yeah, we're going to change it. Oh, it's metallic cone. That's why I was doing it the wrong way. Cool. All right, I'm going to call it flat. Oops. Flat smooth 4. Okay. Generate. And we move this here. Okay. Again, we're going to move it here. We're going to balance it out so that it's angled to the side, out. Go. And if we do that on all these, it looks pretty darn good. Just have to make sure we level it off. And again, where there's points that are extra detail, we add them in so that we can get that nice look to it. Okay. And then we're going to hit generate mesh. And we end up with this piping going along the side, and it looks like it's too wide down here. Okay. So we're going to bring this in a little bit. So, and then we're going to bring this in a bit. So, there we go. Generate the mesh. And like that. Okay. Eh. And I'm not against changing some of the engine dynamics. And again, a lot of time can be spent making this look absolutely the most prettiest thing in the world. But there's the demo. Now, since we did this, we do need to copy, paste it, double it, and we're going to go -1 on the X and have it flip and go on the other side. And it should line up perfectly on the other side, given that everything is where it is. Cool. I still don't like this thing at the bottom. It still just looks weird. Yeah, I'm gonna change this to. Oh, we'll see. We'll see how we end up with this. Yeah, that works a bit better when it's flat before. Okay, so we're gonna change all the strut stuff again because that's what we like to do. Flat smooth 4. I just find it works best than other stuff. And generate the mesh. Still a little bit on the white side, but we can always play around with that a little bit later. All right, there you go. And that gets us sort of the engine underneath. We can add in here. If we're looking, we can add this pipe in here, right there. And then we have this turbo thing that sits on top of it. What do I have in the reference images? Yeah, he's got the same color of the lighter brown. Okay. So I'm suggesting is we have this pipe here and we have this piece here. And then yeah, he's done his little turbo, whatever you want to call this thing, much nicer than mine. He always does nice work. It's very nicely done. And I don't want to copy him, but at the same time make my stuff look nice. All right. Let's see how fast I can finish up this turbo machinery. Just so it's not floating in the middle of the air, which would make it look odd. Just going to quickly put in this little line piping. Yep. One pipe. Looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks pretty decent. Decent enough. Pull it back a little bit. There we go. Copy, paste, and we got, oops. Copy, paste it. There we go. And then we're going to put, oops. We're going to move it down to here. Move it here. And as you can see, we're just quickly following it along, hoping not to crash Unity with all these crossing line things that it hates. It so hates them. There we go. Grab the right end. There we go. And rotate it like that. There we go. And with a little bit of help. It doesn't look too bad, right? Oh, who are we kidding? This looks awful. Awful, awful, awful. But there we go. And then we're going to generate this mesh here. And again, we're just going to bring that in so it's there. Okay. And then we're going to copy it one more time. And we're going to go delete, 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 delete. Move that over here like so. I know, don't cross the streams, but I'm going to risk it to be able to do this. And then we're going to drag that down because that's going to shift as it moves up and down. And not too bad as we generate mesh. Okay, cool. So there we go. And again, as I said, we have this part here that's there. Now, I'm going to grab this part here and I'm going to move it up to, where is it here? I can just move to 1, making it a little bit thicker. Generate mesh. There we go. And part of the reason I'm doing that is because this is what it will sit on. This makes things a lot easier in terms of surfaces and stuff like that. Where's the surface? Oh, it's down there. Well, that's not where it should be. It should be at 1, 1, and then we're going to go here, say 25, whoops, -20. Oh, no, it's not -20. It's -10. -10? Yeah, close enough. Drag it all the way over here. There we go. And all the way over here. What was that? 15, 15? Okay. 15 to 15. And that's there just because when we do our engine here and it says we're taking it off a surface. Where's it? Right here, surfaces. We have it set to C Dragon Engine, but we have a specific surface added here at the top, so that we know that it's going to take the fuel off the top, because otherwise sometimes other stuff doesn't connect to the surfaces. So that's sort of where we're at. Hey, Aaron Student Studios, welcome to the stream. We're just building a C Dragon engine today in a giant fit of what am I doing. So there you go. Now we also have the heat hitbox we need to move. It's shown here in green. For this, we do actually move it to the bottom here, and I want it to be at -30.25. It's not touching the engine, but it's pretty close to the engine. And then over here, this is where we type in a bunch of numbers, and we're saying 20. It's a little hard to see here, but it's the green box. Let's hide this so we can see it. Toggle active. There we go. So here's the heat hitbox right now. And we'll go, I think we're going to go 30. And then we need to make it as big as we want. And I think it's going to be like 50. Like, it's going to be a big heat box. 24. There we go. So that's going to be the, oh no, it's got to be bigger than that. 75. 75, so that's 35. 36. Is it 37? Probably 37, right? 38. 37.5. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so that's what we ended up with as our heat box. Um, and then we can go to our flame holder. We can turn our flame holder back on, and we got to find our flame. It's tiny, so we're gonna move it down. Before I do this, scale active. Yeah, so I can move the flame holder down. Right. Okay. There it is. And it's currently set up as the flame is currently shoot, what is this thing called? Frontier engine, which is actually space. So we're actually gonna get rid of the flame holder. Boom, it's gone. We're actually gonna go to another engine and we're gonna take their flame because right now that flame is not what this is. This is a engine that gets us off the ground. So we're gonna go find actually, we're going to go find in the actual base engines over here. We got the Hawk engine and we got the Titan. So we're going to take the flame holder from the Titan um, because this is probably the closest thing, and we're just going to make it bigger. You know, as big as we can make it. So we're going to go back here. We're going to find our Sea Dragon engine. There we go. We're going to go here. We're going to paste it into the engine or into the nozzle. And the flame is there, and then we're going to hit 1 for right now, and we're going to move that flame all the way down here. So that is to -30. That is the Titan flame that normally the Titan kicks out, and we're going to go and not do that. That looks awful. 15. No, 10. 10, and that's 10. There you go. Woohoo! How does that line up with our hitbox? That's pretty darn good. There you go. Giant flame. And it's set to everything now. In the flame holder, we do want to double check, make sure everything is good, because you'll see here where it says missing. That will cause a lot of problems. So we want the heat hitbox, and active, we want the heat hitbox, like so. And that should be good. Hopefully this does not burn itself. And we can put some piping stuff, but let's do a little test with this guy once we figure out what the numbers are. So the Sea Dragon engine itself, we can see here that we need the thrust and everything else looks like it's already been plugged in from last week. So that's good. The torque, I wasn't super happy with multiple of 5, so I'm going to make it 15. That's tripling the torque this engine does when it's running. Main reason I'm doing this is just simply because I found that last time when we were trying to turn, it's a big rocket, but it needs a little bit more oomph in it, if we can say that, in terms of rotation. And we're good on this. Heat module. So the heat module's not happy, so we're going to remove that. Don't know why the heat module's not happy, but I don't want problems. There we go. There we go. Just double checking stuff. All right, so we're going to give this a go. What is this actually under? It's under the Apollo Saturn. Okay. So we're going to build this out and see how this goes in here. So Apollo Saturn. I think the pack is Apollo. Yeah, there's a PSI Apollo. There you go. Big rockets. We're going to be 1.4 beta. Reason is I scale it up every time. And we're going to go Pico space. Apollo C. I don't know. B. 4 beta. And that's going to add everything in there. We're going to give windows and stuff. We're going to hit build mod. We don't have any actual mods that go into this, so we don't have to require the PSI DLL, so we're good on this one. Hi Island Waffle. So we're going to do a quick little launch test with the engine, make sure it's not broken, and I think that's about as far as we're going to get today. Took a little bit longer than I hoped, which is sort of the way with modding. Everything takes much longer than you think it's going to take. So next week we're going to try to fix everything up and make it look nice, and see how we can do it. But yeah, no, this is one of these things where we're getting into the nitty gritty details of how everything should work. And I definitely need to check how to build this all together because we're having some technical difficulties um, with the launch exploding, which is not great. So now it's done. It's going to come out in something called Mod Builder. We're going to grab this. We're going to copy it. We're going to go to our parts. We're going to paste it. We're then going to delete. No, I called it Big Rockets. Okay. We're going to change this to Big Rockets. Otherwise, I'm going to have people trying to upload this thing and stuff. So yeah, I have some Big Rocket plans. I want to make an N one as well at some point in the future. I made the truss for it. So that's the hardest part for that rocket in particular. But we'll see how it's going there. If you have any questions so far, let me know. And probably gonna see this thing explode in a couple seconds because we've been having trouble. All right, and it's too wide. How did we pull that off? Hmm. Okay. So let's fix that for 2 seconds. Game. Let's go back here and figure out why that is too big. So if we take this here and we scroll it back over, so it's at the center. I know it has to go down now. So, all right, so this is the first stage, and it is 23 wide. All right, okay. So my Sea Dragon engine at the top here, it can't be wider than 23. So we're gonna go 23. We'll then go uh, 20, and we're gonna go 18. How about that? Nope, that's too small for the turbo machinery. Okay, 22, 22, and 21. How about that? There you go. That'll work. So we're gonna just rebuild the mod here, and we're going to figure this out. Island Waffle says he's almost done his Vulcan mod, and he's finished it. Didn't take too long for almost everything. And then it's also Adria possible now. Yeah, there's a couple people doing the Ariane 5s. It's a very popular rocket. So it's gonna be interesting to see how everyone comes out with the moves. My additional launch vehicle pack updates once I finish this. I'm gonna be working on. I think I'm adding another 6 rockets to it, so that'll end up being a pretty big pack. So I'm really glad that everyone's getting into the modding and getting these rockets in, because everyone has their own way of doing it. I'm trying to make these as I'm calling them semi-realistic, but the idea being is they should work in realistic mode. I know a couple people have been making theirs designed to work in normal mode. Um, so in my mine in normal mode are a little overpowered, and I did that again. Okay, copy, I'm gonna paste that over here. We're just gonna do that, and then, oops, do big rocket right here. And we're going to give this a try and see if this actually ends up working before I let you guys go for the day. Okay. So other than it being slightly off-centered, that's fine. Let's center it. There we go. So it sits on the bottom. That sits there. That, I'm assuming this is in the right spot. We're going to do this like that. This has to sit on top like that. This part's going to go right here. And then this part here, oh, come on. Go like that. Okay. It's gonna sit there. This is gonna sit underneath it like that. And then we do need to get that part that's holding it all together right now. Uh, additional launch vehicle. Additional spacecraft. No, I don't know where I put that. What was that? Oh, there it is. Okay. There we go. All right, so we have that, and then we can stage it where we go one. The second stage will drop like this, and we also need to add this stage in there because that's the rocket stage. Once this is all theoretically up in the air, this is going to go along with this. Oh, come on. This there. Okay, let's see if this is going to work. Probably going to explode, but, you know, yeah, it doesn't have a parachute. The parachute's actually in the capsule, but it doesn't count as a parachute. Nope, things just exploded. For it to build, we'll get it figured out. This is like that as it happens. Maybe that's supposed to sit like that. We'll have to figure it out. Kind of made this thing in a bit of a rush a couple weeks ago, so hopefully this thing doesn't explode. Please don't explode. Okay, it looks like it's not exploding. How many times can we blow up a rocket? Hey, Mr. Thank, welcome. Yeah, no, I try not to have rockets explode. I'm just trying to figure out. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so you have to have this. So you can see that part there. That has to be on here to hold it. And then that's like that. That means because this part here basically comes right in. I think that's hopefully it. And then it sticks at the top. I don't think it's supposed to stick at the top like that. Yeah, sorry if this is kind of loud exploding noises. Oh, no, no, still exploded. I don't know why. Oh, you know what it is? Hang on, let's try this. Cheats. No heat damage. Alright, for it to launch. I have a suspicion. Nope, still exploding. It's not the engine. Uh, this is annoying. I didn't do this last week. My thinking is this is supposed to just sit on top. No. Like that. And this is supposed to sit underneath like so. It's not supposed to pop out the top. And then this goes on the bottom like so. Oh, apparently I don't have a module at the top here. That'll do it because it's dropping the heat shield on top of the bottom. Yeah, yeah. You gotta watch out for stuff falling. Oh, go like that. Okay. Yeah, because if this heat shield keeps landing on the bottom, it explodes. Okay. So it's there we go. Let's see. No explosion. No explosion. Okay. All right. We're gonna ramp up this thing. We're gonna hit this. We're gonna go, and we're gonna see if we can launch this into orbit. What do you mean no liquid fuel source? We've got full of fuel. What? Oh, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Yeah. Okay. But this says no liquid fuel. This says no. Convert to build. There should be liquid fuel in here. This has got a pile of liquid fuel. Second stage. Am I missing something? I am missing something. Additional. Oh. That's why it looks a little. Someone was commenting before it looked a little weird. It's because we're missing a whole fuel tank. Oh, I know what I'm building. I'm building a dragon. Okay. Secondary fuel tank is there. Okay. Um. Yeah, we have to double check to make sure this engine is working, and it says error. Hmm. Okay. That's going to be a problem. So we got to figure out why that is not working. I hit the save. I'm going to call it Sea Dragon just so I don't have to rebuild it again. Sea Dragon. All right, save. And we're going to go and try to figure out why that says error. Because launching things error, not a good answer. Okay, Sea Dragon. Going down here. That's a valid number, right? There's no multiplier on here at all. This should just go. Okay. You know what? I'm going to check something here. This might be just an integer. Integer variable bounds. Okay, but what I want to know is that. I'm just wondering if 35,000 is bigger than the integer variable allows. Um, to double check stuff. I can change this to legacy separation surface because that's where it is. It's the top surface there. Um, I can delete this. I don't want that in the background. And we know this is to attachment surface. Okay. I'm not sure why it's giving me an error. That a basic engine. Um, let's see here. Maybe there's something else in here. We're gonna run through. So we have Odin Inspector and Odin Validator here. Super useful tools to find errors. I'm just going to run it and see if it finds me any problems in the background specific to the Sea Dragon. It'll always kick out some warnings because there's some things, though just the way you make them, they come up with a warning. But I'm just basically trying to see if there's any warnings in the Sea Dragon itself. So Prime 252 is working on a space shuttle. I'm going to be making an X-37, or I think it's X-37, and a space plane coming up pretty soon. So those are going to be coming up. I haven't talked to Prime 252 about his space shuttle mod yet. I know I have the boosters. Um, I just want to make sure he's going to use my boosters so that they all function together nicely. So, but yeah, if you want to make a space shuttle mod, right now you can make it out of regular parts with the booster for the space shuttle, and then basically add a huge tank of gas, and then add the tilted Osprey engines. They're tilted so that they will run the RS-25s with the proper tilting for shuttles to launch up into space, um, and then you can go. So I have the landing gear that I put out, and you can toggle landing gear to have a heat shield on it, which is useful because when you're coming in, you're gonna come in pretty hot. So yeah, Mark, there is a space shuttle pack being made, but right now you can actually make a space shuttle. So there's a couple options out there right now. All right, so here's our list. We do have some errors on some stuff, but that's things that can fix later, or they're other people's mods that I've been trying to fix for them. And I just go through and say, hey, here's the errors that you need to fix. But nothing's coming up saying Sea Dragon, so we're good on that. All right. So we're just gonna rebuild the pack and see if that solves it. Whoops. And hopefully this is going to get us to a point where we can actually launch the rocket and have it actually properly fueled. So, oh wait, hang on. Oh, no, this is something else. Okay, never mind. Ignore that. Wait, hang on a second. That was totally something different. All right, so if you have any last minute questions, let me know. But I think if we can get this going without any problems, now that I've actually added fuel tank on top of the secondary engines. Whoop. Okay. Our build. So I haven't moved anything, changed anything. I just add the fuel. So this should now launch. And with any luck, I'm going to hit enter and it's not going to tell me it has. Okay, engines are on. Good. So both engines have fuel. I hit this button and away we go. And that flame doesn't look correct at all. So I forgot to set the sizing in the flaming thing. We can also see here that the engine is also not tilting. Okay, so we need to figure out why the engine isn't tilting. And one engine's out of fuel. So we're gonna press this button. It's gonna drop the first stage off. At least that works, right? the little wins. And where are we at now? We're gonna get up to 40 degrees. Okay, so yeah, this engine doesn't have any sound in it right now, so we'll fix that up next week. But and we'll adjust a bit of the positioning. But yeah. Okay, so we need to fix the gimbals apparently. But this gets us into space without too much problem. And then once we're into space, we cut the engines and we separate out the upper stage, which if it had payload would be right here, but it doesn't. And we want to go to this rocket here, switch to this. And we know from this that this is going to be no problem. We just pop that off and then it comes down for a quick landing. So, yeah, so we'll go back and fix the flame because the flame is kind of important. And we'll quickly add some sound into the second engine as well. And we don't need to see that come down. We know that works. That's the one thing that works in this whole rocket. Okay. So this is what we want in the flame. So what we're going to do is go to the flame holder. The flame holder has multiple 10 by 10. So we're going to go to the flame holder scale. And we're going to make sure that this says 10 by 10 as well. Because this is going to override our scaling if we don't actually change it. And that's the little boo-boo that I didn't make. So let's make that 10. So now the engine's going to properly scale. I'm going to go like, oops, this, go like that. We're going to edit this point here and just make sure it is 0 and 0 because we don't want to see the engine plume before we turn the engine on. So that's good. And then we also need to just make sure we go and figure out why the engine isn't doing a gimbal. So we have gimbal on, the value should be on. Yeah, so we want it on. Engine there. Torque enable should be gimbal on. Okay. And gimbal on. Okay, cool. That's proper move module. Awesome. Okay, so we fixed that problem. Okay, and we're going to take this, we're going to copy it, the audio segment. We're going to go to the Sea Dragon here. We're going to find the other stage here, the secondary stage, because we noticed that the secondary stage didn't have any audio on it. So we're going to paste that component as new. and it's going to add that audio component in here. We're going to change the pitch to 1.2 just so it sounds a little bit different. There you go, and it's also on throttle, so that is good. And we're going to double check here that good. And because I know this one here, we're going to move it down a little bit because it was a little, oops, 7.5, there we go. It wasn't in the right spot, so we're going to do that. And then we're going to check that. Okay, there we go, there we go. And I want to go to the payload bay. And in the payload bay, we're going to go here because, again, I'm noticing some things aren't working. So it says that we're going to say 40. Now, if this doesn't split, I've got the numbers backwards, and it should be negative and positive, but that should be good. All right. And then we're going to rebuild the pack again very quickly, copy it over, and I think that's what we're going to call for the day. Yeah, this will be at least a functional Sea Dragon, although still not the best designed Sea Dragon. We definitely next stream is going to fix up all these little errors so that when we're actually building it and launching it, it's not going to have things where it's like if it's not exactly in the right spot, things don't work, because we want it easy for people to use it, right? If you've used my all additional launch vessels or my additional spacecraft, I try to make it as easy as possible for people to put things together. Obviously, there's always variation. People can do their own sort of take, and Spaceflight Simulator make different parts together and stuff to your heart's content. But I do want to make it so that it's obvious where things go together, so that they're not having things explode for no reason and then say, "Why is this happening?" Because people don't come back if your mod pack doesn't work. I can tell you that one. All right, so let's do this once more into the fray. Okay, so all the changes have been made. You're not going to see them externally on the rockets because they are internal changes, but they theoretically have been done. So we're going to boost the engines up. We're going to hit ignition, and then the whole rocket's going to go. We can see down here in the bottom left-hand corner that the first stage is using up a lot of fuel very quickly because that stage is actually giving us the massive amount of thing. And now we turn. I'm still not seeing the engine turning. Oh, I know why. Hard to build. Because I haven't dropped the engine down, it hasn't updated, so we do have to turn the gimbal on. Similar here. Okay, good. Okay. If you normally dropped it from the thing, it'll now have it where it's gimbaled on automatically, and I'll just show you that. Where is it? Here it is. There you go. The gimbal's now on. I still don't know why it says error on there. I'm guessing it's a maximum number it doesn't like. But even though it's a maximum number it doesn't like, it still works. And I'm going to take it. Because of that error, it's giving us 17.2 tons of thrust, and it's giving 17.2 as the weight, and 17.2 is the part count. And it's still not gimbaling that engine. This is weird. It really does not like that overpowered engine. But once it's done, see all the numbers go back. Interesting. So, I'm gonna have to figure that one out. Maybe have to talk to somebody and figure that out as we go. I'm trying to gimbal it, but yeah, as I said, the gimbal's value isn't high enough, so. Interesting. Very interesting. Huh. Well, I might have to redo that engine power thing, because apparently 37,000 is too high a number for it to actually use. Alright, so now we're in space. We don't have any RCS system. I'll have to add that next week as well in order to turn the rocket. But yeah, we're going. Oh yeah, the thrust is below. The second stage thrust isn't as high as the actual weight. So we're still below. So it's going to actually end up dropping us if we're not careful. Alright, cool. But if we hit this, still a little buggy. and sliding off to the side. I think I know how to solve that problem. Oh, I'm pretty sure I know how to solve this. All right, so if you have it where you're using the split command and you have things sliding sideways when you try to use it and you're wondering what's going on, and in about 10 seconds, everything will start functioning normally again. Um, I know why that is. um, and that is going to be our last fix of the day. I know how to fix that. So, Payload Bay has all this stuff. So you do this, and then you go down to here, and no, it says 0, so it should work. Well, we'll figure it out next week. So thanks everybody for watching. I'm gonna put this pack onto the server so people can play around with it. And then next week we're gonna try to fix all these little buggy parts to the rocket, and I'm gonna see why the engine gives an error, which it shouldn't, but it does. So I'll look at that offline. I might have to give a poke to some of the other modders and say, have you run into this problem before? And we'll get that functional. So there you go. As for everyone else, enjoy your night. And yeah, the pack will be up on the server in about 5 minutes. So thank you very much for watching. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you have any questions or any suggestions, etc., on how I can make this better. Given that next week is going to be solve all the problem week. Solve all the problems before the end of the month. That's what we're doing. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.